United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Have a barely a quorum, but we have a quorum. We do have some people that probably will be remoting in, but it's going to be a little late, so there will be more people coming. Are there any added agenda items?
You know, I'm just wondering if perhaps we can put it under miscellaneous, just the BOE, the letters of interest, BOE for arts.
I was gonna,
Okay.
a little bit of an update on it. So we don't need to add it.
Okay, that's right.
Did everyone, well, did the three of you read the minutes for December 10th? Any revisions, corrections? Not emotions in order to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 10th, 2025 as presented.
Motion is made by Noreen, seconded,
I'll second that.
seconded by Betsy. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
I thought,
Opposed? No. Next is public participation. We're so happy that you're all here tonight. It's great to see a lot of people here. I think I know why you're here. But if anyone has anything that they would like to tell the board under public participation, this is the spot to do it. There's also one at the end of the meeting. Anybody? Okay. Then we're on to the student representative's report.
Starting off, for Broderick Elementary School, during the month of December, Broderick Elementary School students participated in several successful school-wide initiatives and events. The winter concerts were well attended and showcased students' hard work, creativity, and musical growth, providing a meaningful opportunity for families and community members to celebrate student achievement. Congratulations to the fourth grade band students on their successful first concert. The performance highlighted students developing musicianship and included section performances, and a full band presentation. Broderick Elementary School continued Biscuit's Best Attendance Club, reinforcing the importance of regular attendance. Participating students were recognized with a special biscuit-themed stress ball, which was enthusiastically received. Broderick Elementary School appreciates the PTO and all parent and Board of Education volunteers for time and support to make the holiday store a great success. Their involvement continues to strengthen the Broderick Elementary School community and enhance opportunities for students. Over winter break, students took part in the Winter Learning Challenge, which encouraged continued learning beyond the classroom. This included a reading challenge in partnership with the Springfield Hummingbirds, promoting literacy and student engagement during the break. East Windsor Middle School enjoyed a fun-filled and memorable month of December. Excitement kicked off on December 5th with our first school dance of the year, featuring a vibrant neon theme. The following week, students participated in PJ Day to raise funds for children battling cancer at CCMC. Students who achieved 95% or higher attendance during the months of October and November earned the opportunity to participate in a rock, paper, scissors tournament with prizes ranging from gift cards to signed Yukon posters. The middle school also hosted its first band and chorus concert of the year, which had a great turnout and showcased our students' musical talents. Right before winter break, students took part in a school-wide incentive event that included a variety of winter-themed activities to end the month on a high note. On December 20th, the high school students, in collaboration with middle school students, proudly represented the school in the Torchlight Parade, demonstrating collaboration, perseverance, and confidence as they performed in a community setting. Students, some marching for the first time, rose to the challenge alongside experienced peers, showing growth as communicators and contributors, and they did not hide their Panther pride. We also recognize Miss Stenson and Miss Borowski for their leadership in building a music program that fosters student ownership, leadership, and authentic performance opportunities aligned to our portrait of a graduate.
Thank you, Tim. Next, we're on to the Broderick Elementary School report.
I don't get them. We're all ready.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome.
Thank you. I would like to present to you our math witness, but before I do that, I want to acknowledge Noah Saunders, who's in grade 2. He is an apprentice wizard, but unfortunately is unable to attend because he paid ill today. But I did want him to be able to be recognized with the rest of the wizards. So please welcome our math wizards from Broadbrook School as they talk about reflex math.
My name is Louise. My name is Vasuda Gandham. I'm in third grade and I'm an apprentice wizard. My name is Liam James. I'm in fourth grade and I'm a journeyman wizard. My name is Manas Khanpal. I'm in fourth grade and I'm a master wizard. My name is Amelia Covington. I'm in second grade and I'm an apprentice wizard. My name is Madeline Sabas. I'm in fourth grade and I'm a master wizard. My name is Grayson Raymore, and I'm in second grade, and I'm also a master wizard. My name is Benjamin Loba. I'm in second grade, and I'm an apprentice wizard. My name is Gavin Verbal. I'm in second grade. I'm an apprentice wizard. And Benjamin Mines. I'm in second grade, and I'm an apprentice wizard. My name is Kylan, and I'm in second grade, and I'm an apprentice wizard. My name is Lois Vale. I'm in second grade, and I'm an apprentice wizard.
Next slide.
We want to get better at math. We want to be fluent at basic equations so we can handle complex math easily. Reflex teaches us facts that we can use on iPad.
Next slide.
Reflex math is training play to practice math facts. It changes based on what we need help with, so everyone is learning at the right level. Each game has different challenges. For example, in the game theory, we'll mark you collect keys to unlock the next area. If you're not possible, you have to start again. We can do reflex at school, home, or anywhere we have a device. It is easy to log into it. But correctly answer math facts should appear in time you earn a green light. As we had multiple green lights, we had to unlock a new game. The lights are on my promise you in about it.
Slide.
Yeah, school is doing the math wizard tab. Every time we practice and improve, we level up like we always do.
The competition is motivating to earn green lights and practice math facts.
Competition by earning the most green lights, the class hangs the window poster outside the classroom.
Excellent.
Tower at school. When we level up, we move higher on the tower. It makes us proud and excited to keep going. We don't come to stay. We will have a bigger over classes. Level shows how we master our facts. When we reach the journeyman stage, we practice multiplication and division. Master leaders are fluent in all math. After becoming a master wizard, you start working on fractions and fractions.
Slide. Wizards help other students who have knowledge about reflex and being a wizard.
When we become a wizard, we earn a pin when we become a master wizard.
Next slide.
Thank you for listening to us. If you have any questions or feedback, I know.
Any questions for our wizards?
So there are some master wizards, right? And you got a pen or a pin? Pin? Are you wearing it now?
I don't know. Only master.
Oh, right
So
here.
we have people of master wizards. Can you show your pin?
Yes, yep. I see one. One there. Awesome.
Yeah.
One there was a person. Excellent.
I have a question. For all of you, was math your favorite subject before you started doing this, or did you do this? Did any of you not like math the most, but then once you started doing it, it made you like math more?
No. Okay. Very nice.
Yeah. And I have one more question. Do you do it at home a lot? Do you-
Yeah, I did. Yeah, me too.
Well, raise your hand if you do it at home.
Yes, mine.
Nice.
Thank you.
So I have a question. So young man with, I can't remember your name. With the red sweatshirt on. So you started not really loving math. I was kind of that student in school in the beginning too. And what would you say to someone else in your grade or one of your other friends' students to say, this is fun, you might want to get involved? What would you say to them?
You can use math almost anywhere, and you need it like
People learn, right?
I have a question.
Yeah.
For Mr. Mrs. Fox or Mr. Ryan.
Sure.
How somebody who's not doing it now get involved to do it? Is it school based or is it more of a home based?
So it is school-based. Every student in grades 2 through 4 has a Reflex account and can work on it. So they do some work during the school day, but truly in order to become a wizard, as you saw with the hands that are raised, you need to go above and beyond.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
You just have to say you all look great in those hats.
You've earned them though, right?
Proud.
That's awesome. Look at your families are here to shine with you. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
So and Ms. Bergeron was just saying she wanted to do a group picture with the wizards and the board.
If I put them this way and you guys just stand
Oh,
and you don't have to escape from the table.
Awesome. That would be great.
Okay, so why don't this first group come over here? Come all the way down here, stand in your line. Yep, stand in your line.
Can I get logged on? So I can get access?
Yeah.
We have your
There you go.
Yeah, you guys just, we'll do it this way.
All right.
Oh, here, you know what?
I want to see the.
I'm the least important person taking this picture. Do you guys want to take pictures? Then I'll take one after.
You know, talk it.
Secret for next winter.
Yeah, right. Some of that comes surprises. Oh, yeah, I love it. And I do think our wizards need a round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you, wizards. Thank you.
Ain't bad.
Great job.
Is there cookies?
Yeah.
I don't know where I went.
This is I'm going to help. I gotta get better at math.
You know what? I think you're how old is it?
Well, we know that you came here for that. We aren't easily offended, so if you don't want to stay and listen to the rest of our wonderful meeting, you're welcome to stay or feel free to go. But thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for putting this on for them. You're really special. It's really fun.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
To get that. Wonderful.
It doesn't seem like it's like, but that's not.
What might be a good thing is later on is we have the students saying, it might be no disabled to my joy. I'm so happy to celebrate that just as far as outreach and we appreciate that you're doing within that home. Seeing as this is right here.
Oh, that's an idea.
I think we could do a quick little note, quick little note to parents here and it's more exposure for parents of these children, given families in them being
Yeah,
there.
we have no cards. I mean, one thing I would do was,
Exactly. It's just to kind of generate that.
yeah, we probably have to do the next meeting. Get a month later, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're up to the
Everybody didn't see that.
That's it.
Oh, they were.
They stayed after school quite a bit to practice with Mrs. Fox. And even though they were hiding in the background, they had, two instructional coaches and certainly that deserved their dues for supporting the students.
Yeah.
And, you had, Mrs. Wise, who, is a fourth grade teacher. So you had 3 teachers, 2 administrators.
Yep.
So I mean, certainly the families and the students deserve, the credit, the staff do as well.
It's none of them were nervous. They all pulled well.
Thank you, Mrs. Fox and Mr. Ryan. Your pleasure. You're not Carrie, you're not Carrie.
Oh, I didn't know.
Hey, you missed a good show.
Thanks.
Can we note that, Courtney just arrived at, 7, whatever it was?
Yeah. Gary's online too. So
Yeah, she was on like maybe 5 minutes after the.
It was 7:03.
Oh.
Good secretary knows.
You're right on. Okay, next is our secretary, our superintendent's report.
I don't have one. Come and bring it.
So the presentation is in your board packet. I will say, I will send out the entire, parent survey, the questions and answers, the responses out in an email, tomorrow. But the copy of this presentation's in there. So this was a parent survey. I've sent this out on an annual, basis, each fall. So this was conducted in October. We advertised and messaged it to families a couple weeks prior to parent teacher conferences as well as during conference week to try to essentially encourage families to complete the survey. Parent community outreach is obviously connected to our strategic plan, specifically goal 4. And then the results from the survey will provide useful feedback and already has provided useful feedback on parent satisfaction, which we've seen in the results regarding communication, areas of interest, preferred communication methods, overall school satisfaction, which directly impacts community outreach and our engagement goals. I'd also like to note embedded in the survey were questions regarding school climate that we use to help identify school and district-wide goals. And then we take those questions and just those questions, we pull them out and we use those questions again at the end of the year with families as pre and post. So we'll see if how we've improved by the end of the year as well too. And we track that progress in that area. So as far as respondents, we had 88 individual essentially parents completed that represented 150 students. So about 53% of those responded had more than one child attending our schools. If you do add up the percents at the bottom of the slide, I will tell you the sum is over 100%, but that's because respondents could select multiple schools. So for example, it would list do you have students in Brockworth Middle School, High School? You could select 1, 2, or 3 as they responded. So when you look at a respondent rate of 15%, that is something that's usable. It is statistically meaningful. And certainly it can be valid for identifying themes, tracking, trends over time, getting feedback. And overall, our results do imply that most parents are satisfied with their child's educational experiences through East Windsor Public Schools. I will say the results and the respondent rate are not valid for making strong claims about the entire parent population. Typically, we would look for a respondent rate of about 25 to 30%. And also comparing subgroups or making what I would consider like high stake decisions. So like policy changes, staffing programs. But again, certainly it is useful for identifying themes and getting useful feedback. So one thing that emerged was academic challenge and support. Overall, results indicate that parents place a high importance on challenging students in academics with satisfaction gaps regarding specialized support staff. So when we looked, we had 3 questions regarding teachers and expectations. So when the importance of challenge, I will say there was an overwhelmingly high rating as far as placing a high importance with teachers challenging students of all their learning levels. So overall, being extremely important, almost 57% of parents rated that. It was one of the highest rated questions. We do a weighted average. So out of a 5-point scale, it was 4.4. As far as satisfaction with challenge, parents also report a high satisfaction with the ability of teachers to challenge their child. So about 73% said they were either satisfied or very satisfied, with about 83% also saying they agree or strongly agree that their child's teachers have high expectations for their children. Certainly positive as far as our teachers and their work. In regards to support staff, as I indicated, there was a gap as far as some of the responses. So as far as the importance of staff, that was rated extremely important by 65% of our parents with a weighted average of 4.53. Again, one of the higher rated questions. Regarding the satisfaction with the availability, that was much lower. So you had about 44% of respondents that were neutral regarding the availability of support staff, while about almost 16% were dissatisfied or very dissatisfied. So certainly not enough data to draw conclusions, but certainly something to dig a little deeper and explore. And it can also be attributed that not all families have students that are able to access tutors or support staff because it's not required or needed. But again, something to explore a little deeper.
Patrick, can I ask you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know I did the survey, but I don't remember. When it came to the support staff, did you give an explanation as to what that was? Or I don't remember anything saying we're talking about. I don't know.
From what I recall, I mean, there wasn't like a clear like definition in the sense like it was labeled as interventionist, it was labeled as school tutors. It was a it did reference reading as an example. But I didn't get into such depth like as far as it was one question, so it didn't individualize like math, reading, special ed. It was,
I don't remember. I was just curious because sometimes people see support staff and they're not quite sure what it is exactly,
Right.
or so they could have been making commentary on a vast amount of things and not necessarily what we
We're thinking.
were thinking.
Yeah.
But
and when you think of, I mean, so you're talking about 15% of the overall population. Typically, intervention, if you're following like kind of like the intervention triangle, it's really your 20% of your population that's typically eligible for their services. So even if it was higher, around 25%, and then you talk about 25% of 90 respondents, and that's only if the respondent group is representative of the normal population. That's why you can't read too much into the trends, but certainly the information's telling, and certainly this is something to look into further. But
Oh, I was gonna say, do we currently have any vacancies with our support staff in terms of like interventionists or like paras?
Paras, so as far as special ed, I would tell you, typically we do have openings there. There's a lot of transition there.
And that's pretty much consistent across towns, right?
That's across the state.
Yeah, okay.
That being said, we've been pretty stable this year, not always in past years, but this year with our interventionists and regular ed intervention. And I will tell you that's something particularly both at the high school and Broadbrook that we've really put increased attention and focus on, and we're seeing the results, positive results with that work.
So I have a question too, Patrick. And it doesn't sound like if we looked at, there's no way to kind of break this down as far as demographics.
There's not enough respondents to.
Okay. Okay,
They-
just given what we can see as far as,
Yep.
yeah,
You would need a larger subgraph.
yeah,
You need a larger like respondent.
yeah,
Now I'll talk a little bit about that as far as next steps at the end.
okay.
But you need more people to respond to have larger subgroups. Another theme that emerged was facilities and environment. So there was a high importance placed on the physical condition, contrasted with average and poor facility rating. So for example, the condition of a school building is considered very important by our parents. About 84% rated as being very important to extremely important. However, with that, 25% rated the current educational facilities as poor, and another 54% rated as average, with a weighted average of 2.03. So that's one of the lower averages. Looking at our athletic facilities, the physical condition of our athletic facilities was also rated about 51% as being average, and 0.39 as being poor, with a weighted average of 2.09. When it came to the safety and maintenance, so like cleanliness and the maintenance of the building, on the positive, 73% either agreed or strongly agreed that the child's school is clean and well maintained, with about 49% either agreeing, with another 19% strongly agreeing that the child's school is safe and a secure place. Obviously not a surprise with the amount of work this board has put in with ad hoc, and recognizing obviously that our facilities do need updating. So it just further supports that our parents are seeing what we're seeing as well.
Patrick, sorry, just a clarification question. What's the difference between importance and education facilities? Is it just like importance of having facilities versus just like there's different numbers there for just importance, and then the last one, education facilities?
So essentially they're saying that there's a high importance that the physical condition is, they're basically saying the condition of the buildings being like updated is very important.
Okay, and then the education facilities is
Referring more, I think, to the like overall physical condition of the, like I was.
Yeah, you're trying to separate like the educational versus
the
athletic.
entire campus?
Yeah, so
Okay,
you're talking about like our classrooms and the building suitable
Got
for
it,
the
okay.
instructional learning environment.
okay,
And so we separated questions specifically with like athletics as
got it,
well.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the last thing that emerged was communication and engagement. So overall, parents do feel well connected and satisfied with school responsiveness, but they definitely do have clear preferences for information delivery and content. So I would tell you about 75% either strongly agree or agree that they are satisfied with the response they get when contacting the school with questions or concerns. And those results were very similar with questions regarding two-way communication and overall communication. Also about 80% of the parents either agree or strongly agree that they feel they are an equal partner in their child's education with a weighted average of just over 4. And then when it comes to how we communicate, I always find this question very telling. We use this, we share this as an administrative team, and we think of, we use this information when communicating. Almost 84% per email, with 60% with text messaging. And the school website is the third most preferred tool at 39%. And I will tell you, our data backs that up. We can look at our daily views on our website, and I can tell you it's very common to have over 6,000 hits on the website on each day. Now, if I go in there and access resources, or our students are accessing resources, or our parents, every time you go in, it counts. But still, those numbers tell you that our website is being viewed and high frequency day to day.
Good to know.
Absolutely. I will say also, and looking at our own internal data, certainly we know that our Facebook has over 1,000 followers, and our Facebook is receiving anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 views every time something's posted. So I know when you go into the Facebook, you can see, well, this got 3 likes, or this had 4 comments. But I was showing Denise like the views. Even those views are over 1,000. So even though you may only see that, and it may just be information based, it may just say like, hey, school was canceled today, or this is happening, which doesn't always require a comment or the emoji, but still people are going there for information. So that's an important piece to know when we're thinking about how we're communicating. And then when thinking about the most desired types of information, calendar events and listings was the highest at 93%, student news and achievements 78%, and information about safety incidents and precautions was 62%.
Patrick, was Power School at all included in here in terms of parents kind of feeling that it was vital, or?
We didn't specifically say like Power School, like
Just in terms of like immediacy, in terms of, knowing, what's on the, again, academically, that's a piece where you can,
full information.
yeah.
I would have to revisit how the question was asked.
Just that would be interesting.
Did we have, in the parent survey this year, anything just in regards to how how parents feel the school is dealing with, bullying?
We did. I'm glad you asked that question, because I actually did not include that in the slideshow. So interesting enough, so we changed the question. So rather, we did not use the word bullying. We took the legal definition of bullying and defined it like verbatim. And it did not come as concerning as past by just removing, but we defined
The
it.
word, what was, like, where did it kind of
That's from the
play
state.
that?
I'd have to take a closer look. But I will tell you, like, you'll get the question, you'll see tomorrow. So I'll email the entire survey, the responses, and you can pull it out. But we took the state definition, defined it to see if that would change, and were people gravitating to the word bullying versus like the perceptions around it. But it was very interesting. The data indicated otherwise.
I did survey, and when it got to that point, I thought to myself, oh, well, that's an interesting way to word that. And it'll be interesting to see how that turns out, because I mean, I knew what it was getting to. So it's interesting how,
Well, it's a
The
clearer
difference,
definition in
like-
terms of, again, the reporting that you have to do even to the state is.
Right.
It's a bit different.
Yeah, the reporting, so the reporting was based on the definition.
Patrick, what about, any kind of, social, emotional, like, mental health? Was there anything in there about, I mean, that kind of goes along with the school climate pieces. Was there anything, did we do anything around that questioning?
We did, and so we typically will, so we take as, pre-data. I can tell you, we also use that information to set our, essentially our school-wide goals. So
Yeah.
I can tell you, we've set our goals based on, expectations, like teacher expectations, for, students and challenging students. But we also ask questions like, does your child have a trusted adult?
It's a very important question.
And so it was rated high.
Good.
But that being said, obviously we want that question to be 100%. And I will tell you, typically at the end of the year, when we do the post, it typically is 100% at our schools. So certainly, we'll do the post, with that, but we have a series of questions. Offhand, I will tell you, it's probably about 7.
Yeah.
And then we will follow up in a post survey with a few more as well. So the reason we do that too is to try not to overwhelm parents with the number of surveys in the beginning of the year. So we embed it in this survey.
Yeah,
But then we just pull just those questions out with a post survey.
yeah. And where did the survey come from, Patrick?
As far as
Development of the survey.
myself, along with my leadership team. So just conclusions and next steps. Again, a majority of parents are satisfied with their child's overall experience. The vast majority believe their child has at least one trusted adult they can turn to school. And that was at 43% strongly agree with 36% agree. Again, we'll do a post on that as well. But to start the beginning of the year, only a month into school, certainly that is a strong indicator. Certainly areas to focus based on parent feedback, instructional support. Again, while the importance of tutors and specialists is extremely high, satisfaction with the availability shows some room for improvement or to at least explore it further. Infrastructure, both athletic and education facilities are predominantly rated as average to poor. Obviously giving a high importance of parents placing on the physical condition of our schools. Honestly, I don't think that's a surprise. Our facility warrants attention, and there's a reason why that ad hoc committee exists on school facilities. And then extracurricular and enrichment programs like after-school activities, such as like arts, music, world language, field trips are generally rated high, along with satisfaction levels for field trips and world language are moderate, suggesting maybe opportunities for expansion or review. And then the next steps, based on some individual feedback I got from parents, looking for ways to shorten the survey, target more of the specific areas based on the last 3 years of data. I will tell you though, I think this is, I think I'm in my 5th year as superintendent. I've done the survey every year. Now we have trends. So questions that have been rated very high and very positive year to year, I feel confident and comfortable eliminating those questions in an effort to shorten it and have it more targeted. And hopefully by streamlining it, we can increase the likelihood of respondents. This year was lower, and I felt like we increased our efforts to even get it out once we recognized it was lower.
Yeah.
So that can mean a number of things. In my conversations, what I got for feedback, and again, it's only a handful. Parents either being satisfied and not feeling the need to fill it out, and also the length came into play. So that's primarily what I got through just a few through conversations.
How many questions? How long does it think it takes?
I would guess it's probably about 10 to 15 minutes to complete.
Thanks.
Would you say that's fair, Nori?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can still think that.
10 minutes probably.
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I will say we shortened it this year too.
Yeah.
So like in the past, it was even longer.
That being said, 15% is still really good for a 10 to 15 minute survey. So question on this. I'm sure there's limitations around surveying students and collecting that kind of data. But do we have any similar surveys that we administer to like high school students? I just feel like getting their perspective is important if the goal is to use this data to inform our strategic plan. I don't know if we have anything.
So when it comes to school climate, we do survey our students at the secondary levels. I don't believe, do we do it at the elementary too? Oh, it looks much different though. Yes.
But that would be good information as we start to do.
But even like I think getting their perceptions on like what they perceive, what aspects of the facilities they perceive should be improved.
I mean, we got Tim here. I think it'd be a perfect opportunity for allow him
You want
to give him some student voice at the table as far as what he thinks students would complete or what they do. I mean,
I think it would be great.
yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to get his input.
Your students,
fine.
put that. What do you think?
For like how to get student opinions on,
Yes.
Or what you think, that maybe what's missing with getting student opinions as well too.
I would say, I mean, there's a lot of kids who don't really like value something like that. Like they kind of just look in their email and like all night being great for it, so they kind of blow it off. So I think if there's a way to like add an incentive maybe to like keep an incentive, so like fill out the survey gets you some sort of
Ice cream in the gap theory.
So this is really interesting, Tim, because I do value your opinion and I love it when you're reading the report. But I also would love, like, would you be interested in kind of delving a little bit? It's asking a little bit more. Like if you got 10 people together, right? And you sat and somebody showed you how to kind of facilitate a discussion group, but you would be leading it. Would that be something you might be interested in coming back to us?
Yeah, I would do that.
I mean, it's high level work here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would do that. I'd probably have to reach out to like Miss Walker, the guidance counselor, or like Miss Anderson, the kind of something up for me to do, but
We can assist and we give you time.
yeah. So this is for student voice, right? So this is real student voice. And it would be, people that you knew, but maybe unlikely people, right? That have different opinions as well. So you're looking for a multitude of perspectives, right?
yeah.
Or even if that's a heavy lift, I know
I know.
focus groups can be a little intimidating. Even if it's as simple as like putting together a few questions and just having people like send you their responses or write down the responses and you can read them to us anonymously too. If it's just like paragraph for like a few sentences of like what students enjoy about the school, what students think, could be improved. Do they think that we need more electives? Do we think that we need more staff support? Basically the things that are in this survey, but not necessarily like a whole 30-minute focus group interview type of thing.
I mean, I don't mind the idea of sitting in a group and talking. Like if I just had like a few things to touch on, like some things you guys want me to touch on or ask or get opinions on, I could do that. I could try and formulate a survey. I could I could send it out to student government through student government to kids.
Yeah. So Patrick, could Tim get support in a
Oh, yeah.
be able to do that? Because that would be really great.
We can I can talk to Mrs. Anderson, and Mrs. Walker, and we can help facilitate that.
Yeah, I'd be glad to do this.
Oh, thanks.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Tim's like, dang it, there's gonna be more work.
Write it on your resume when you go.
Any other questions? Carrie, can you hear everything? Uh-oh.
No, I heard.
Oh, yeah.
No, she muted herself.
Yeah, I just.
Okay. Ready. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think you can put all this up. Yep.
So as far as number two, as far as superintendent update, the FY 27 budget. So we're talking about next year's budget, and we're starting to gear closer into budget season. I can tell you, Ryan and myself have met with each administrator and department head. We are ahead of schedule in comparison to past years. I can tell you I'm probably about 60% done with the superintendent's initial budget proposal. You will have that proposal in your packets on, Friday, January 23rd, prior to, the next, board meeting. I do plan on presenting like I have done in the past years. So you have the booklet ahead of time. I will present the highlights. We will also file it with the town, that Friday, so that, certainly it's a public document at that time. And it will also be presented to the public, Thursday, February, 12th. So we're in pretty good standing as far as the process. I also wanted to take the opportunity to just ask the board. I feel like communication is very strong, but if there's any priorities you want to make sure were highlighted in consideration as we start to finalize that initial and understand that this is not the end, the ending, but really the beginning of the process too. And certainly you will have your hands on it as well throughout the process.
But it's correct that you'll get it to us before the public hearing, but we can't comment on it until after the public hearing.
Right.
So you'll have it to be able to absorb it, but we can't comment on it. And we can't ask Patrick any questions. We can't do anything.
I think you could comment on, it, but you can't, like, we can't engage in discussion on it. So if
Yeah.
you said like, oh, I really like this, or like,
Yeah. Okay.
I'll get clarification.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
know for the town side, we used to just not.
Yeah.
Not
Any
engage.
comments on it? I don't know.
No, we didn't engage until after the public hearing and then it's part of the charter, so
Okay.
we can read
Yeah.
it.
That's why I
I think
reached out
it's
to the
worded
town.
There will be no deliberation.
That's why I thought you
like
could,
that.
I thought you could
So
share
I think you can,
comments,
like,
but
kind
you
of-
can't go back and forth. You can't ask a question. I can't respond and
We can't-
engage.
We
but-
can't cut anything.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think. The
So-
past few, we've just kind of tried to avoid it.
Yeah.
I think we've just kind of kept it to a.
Yeah.
brief.
But respectfully, so like I like bringing it to the board first before
Yeah.
just putting out to the public. So again, it'll be a public document when it is shared directly with you. And again, I will present on it as well.
At our next meeting.
Correct, at our next meeting, the 28th.
The public hearing is February 12th.
Yep, that's a Thursday. I believe in your calendar, it's in correspondence, the town budget calendar is in there. So you will see all the dates regarding the budget cycle in your packet. And it's labeled FY 2026, 2027 budget calendar, with some of those dates highlighted. Yeah, it supports that, right before the update itself.
Yeah, that's really helpful, Patrick. Oh, it's going to be able to.
Everyone, can we? So those transition?
Yep, all right, so number 3, so FY 27 transition program transportation needs. You do have a memo from myself. It's directly after the community survey result presentation. Part of behind that memo too is some documents just highlighting what our transition program is, along with a sample job site weekly schedule. Reason I bring this to your attention is Ryan has done a tremendous amount of work as far as researching options to lower our transportation costs. And one of the areas specifically targeted is our transition program. Just to kind of highlight some of the information in the memo. Essentially, our transition program is 18 to 22 for students ages 18 to 22. They have developmental disabilities that are eligible for special education beyond what would be considered a traditional, like, high school cycle. And that's mandated. You are mandated by law to provide these opportunities until they've met their post-secondary goals, saying they're either ready for competitive employment or whatever their post-secondary outcomes are. So it essentially provides pre-employment type skills in real life situations by essentially being out in the community and offering real life like employment opportunities. We supply essentially the job coaches, so we have staff that they might go Pickle Jar Deli, and there's a staff member. It might be 2 of them, might be 3 of them, and along with the business, we provide the assistance to provide that on-site coaching. And so we have a number of businesses throughout East Windsor and just outside that support. We also use internal, so we've had in the years, those that have worked in our cafeterias or our facilities. I think even IT some years ago, as I'm thinking about it. But it's based on, you know, their existing skill set, areas of interest, motivation, and such. What we pay for transportation is typically 2 vehicles. They are on site. We contract out. Obviously, we are looking for like the least expensive option, but when you consider their summer programming needs along with their school year programming, the cost is about approximately $100,000. And that's not going down. Those costs are going up every single year. So what we would like to do or pursue is purchasing our own vehicles to support that program. Finance and leasing options are essentially very reduced costs, even if we're increasing funding for staff to drive the vehicles. It would still be a significant savings to the district, and also would increase our flexibility and capacity for programming, along with other smaller transportation needs within the district. The reason why it's somewhat timely is in talking with vendors and preparation. It's not like you just go and you're buying a car and you're there for 12 hours and you leave. I mean, we're talking about transportation vehicles that are designed specifically for your needs. And those requests have to go in about 6 months ahead of time. So if we don't do it in the within the next 30 days and start to pursue it, really, we've passed the deadline for it to even be feasible for next school year. Speaking as far as the license endorsement, we already have staff that have the license endorsement, and to obtain it for any new staff, it's not a difficult process. Again, we're not talking about full-size buses, just to be clear. We're talking, is it Ryan 12 to, is it 12 or 14? 14. And also we're talking about, there are 2 different types. If it's, there's a lot of Connecticut laws when it comes to transportation vehicles. If the bus is yellow, you can pick up at like you could pick a student up at their house or a location and bring them to school. But it also requires a higher level license. If it's white, it can be used for community-based, such as the transition program. It can be used for field trips, but you cannot pick up or drop off at student home. So we are looking for the white school bus, not the yellow, because of the requirements and regulations around such. And it's strictly just the color. Everything else is exactly the same. And that's how the law in Connecticut works.
But a white van can go and stop at Alex, it's not a white bus.
No, so they said
It's gotta be yellow.
cannot do door to door. It has to be yellow, apparently. Now, there's some grandfathering in based on the year of the vehicle and such, so I can tell you, I know, we do have the one, in-district vehicle that is 14 years old. I will tell you, like in the SIP process, we are going to be looking to update that to a yellow, small yellow bus that's also a wheelchair accessible. And I can tell you that, she does have the license, to do that. So that is, part of that roles and responsibility. But looking at that, I mean, that vehicle is starting to get to the end of the vehicle. We did, Ryan, myself, Deirdre, as far as our special ed director, and Diane did do a field trip to the vendor, and we had Diane, we all got in the mini bus. We had Diane
Drive you around.
oh yeah, to test drive it. And she said, even though it's a larger vehicle, I mean, you're talking about something that's brand new versus something 14-year. And she said it was much easier to handle and drive than the current van. Just to put things in perspective. So we have done our homework. You know, we did take a field trip. We did on the full day EV day. No, election day. We did on election day. So, but certainly we understand this would be a change. I can tell you it's not unique. When we did our, I mean, I was the special ed director when we put in the transition program. At that time, we modeled it after a program in Vernon. It's called Next Steps. It may still exist and may still be called Next Steps, but they provide their own transportation. At that time, we were starting a new program. That was just, we didn't have the capacity to do it. I will tell you as special ed director, I did have a conversation, but that was also with our former outsourced business manager, and that was a very difficult and challenging conversation to even pursue. So certainly Ryan has done his homework and it's made this feasible and doable. I will say I've had a conversation with Amy because this would be considered capital. This was not part, we didn't have enough of the information. We weren't, again, I mean, you have to submit your SIP beginning of September. We weren't far along where we could even consider it as SIP at that time. But we have in our budget transportation, and I talked to Amy, and you can essentially do a transfer from the BOE to the town SIP specifically for a project. So as far as the process, it is doable, but we didn't want to pursue it any farther, less the board was not comfortable with that. So certainly can answer any questions. Ryan's here as well to answer any questions.
No question. So we don't want yellow.
Correct.
So we're basically looking at the second option, this activity bus with wheelchair, right? We want it to have wheelchair.
We do, because we have a number of kids with wheelchairs in the
Okay.
program.
So we're looking at this $111,900 one.
Correct.
And we need two of them.
We do.
And this is not, so this number is only one.
Correct.
We have double.
Yeah, but we would be looking at, to be clear, we'd be looking at lease or finance options, which
It's over 5 years. So that 111, it should sort of like below it. I think I broke it down where it's 18,200 a year for a lease or 24,000 for
But
finance.
that's just for one.
Just for one. Yes, so times that by two and that would be our.
So if we were to lease two of these at $18,200 a year, we're talking 40,000, roughly 40 grand. And right now we're spending 90 on.
closer to 100 when you include the summer portion.
So we would go from 100 down to whatever these lease prices are.
Correct. Yep.
And
And
we would want to lease more than, I don't know, Ryan, did you look into lease versus purchase? Is it something that at the end of 5 years, we can return it and or buy
Initial
it?
quotes I got, we can either give it back or you can do like a lease to own. You didn't really give me too many details on that piece, but it seems like the leasing is probably your best bet.
And if you were gonna lease it, is there an upfront payment that we have to make besides? You know, like when you lease a car, you gotta give them $5 grand.
So he said there is like a registration and potential for taxes. And I said, as a reminder, we're a tax-free entity. So there's probably some little pieces there. Again, he gave me, as far as the quotes go, this is what they were able to give me. I can certainly, reach back out to him and give you more of an exact number. I think the problem was we kind of had to go further in like the financial part before he could give me like real definitive numbers, and we didn't want to push it too far until.
Yeah, I will say when we negotiated, the Smith bus contract, we knew that this was something we wanted to investigate. And so we wanted to leave the possibility there. So we had written into the Smith bus contract that they would service up to 3 district-owned vehicles, with us only be responsible for the cost of parts in that service. So as far as having a service plan, we have that already written in.
I just had do we have, would this cost extra fuel? Or is this going to be less because these things are more fuel efficient or?
I mean, there would be a fuel cost because I mean, that's part of the cost we cost with the vendor, but they would fill up at Smith Bus like our other, like the vehicle that facilities uses that fills up at Smith Bus, the vehicle that Diane drives that fuels up that.
But this would be an extra fuel cost for
It
us.
would, but we're also reducing fuel in other ways
Right.
in our budget, which I have not presented yet.
Okay. And then would we be required to purchase insurance for these as they would be our?
Yep, Ryan's looked into that. He can report a little bit on that. I know he spoke to Karen.
Yeah, sounds like Karma in regards to that. They're obviously a little, they were a bit hesitant. They want to make it very clear they can't like give me a definitive number yet until we move forward with it. But I was able to get it was adding roughly, I think it was like $8 a month per vehicle to our liability coverage. And then she said they're working on the workers like the workers' comp portion of it, like to cover the actual driver itself. So covering the vehicles minimal. But as far as
Insurance policy.
what's that?
And if I could get away with $8 a month for my.
Yeah, well, I think it's combined.
I think it's school bus. But I mean, I don't know what the cost is. My guess is probably already there. So it's just like adding something
Yeah.
that's already pretty extensive.
Our liability policy is very high.
Yeah,
Like the previous are up there,
So-
but
Mm.
depending on the workers' comp, she did say it would roughly be, probably what we're paying for our van driver as is. Which again, when I looked, it's, I don't want to say it's minimal, but it's comes out to, I think it was like $11 a month. So
So this is, our driver currently has a CDL. Do we pay for her to get that, to renew that, or do we pay for any of the medical stuff that goes along with that?
We pay for everything that requires her to maintain that
The renewals and stuff?
endorsement. Yep, yep.
Okay.
So I just have a question, probably it's a Ryan question, I've leased cars before and then mileage, right? You're going over the mileage and then that becomes an issue sometimes. Would there be something in there in terms of maximum amount of mileage? For at least this leased vehicle?
I would have to reach back out to our person on that. We didn't cross that bridge. I do know that, yeah, normally you do like 20,000 miles on there.
Yeah.
I think all the sites are in town, correct? They are pretty much, but I can definitely follow up with that and see what the limits would
Okay.
be on that.
I'm not sure if you thought about it, Patrick or Ryan, like the expected lifespan of these, are these something that we could buy and have for 10, 12 years, or is it something we would prefer to be turning over every 5 years or whatever? I don't know, like how many miles we put on. I know the one we have now is ancient.
It's 14 years.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 14 years.
And it's still limping along. I'm not sure if you guys looked that far into it because, the difference between leasing it and buying it. The issue with a lot of times with leases is that there's the residual at the end, that if you decide you want to keep it, is going to be a lot more than if you had just done the financing.
Yeah.
So if it's something that we're looking at that we could keep for 8 to 10 years, we might be better off thinking purchase it outright and stay away from the lease option. I'm not,
Yeah.
That's a get farther down into the weeds kind of thought. I have one other question, Patrick, as far as the transition program itself, I appreciate all of this information. I knew we had a transition program, but I didn't realize the extent to how much they travel, who goes with them, where they go. As far as the amount of students, I think it says we average
10 to 12.
10 to 12.
Yeah.
Do we know that in advance? Like, do we have a forecasting that says, okay, right now we've got X amount of kids who are in the high school who may end up being in our transition program?
You can forecast it to a degree, but what you can't forecast is the kids, just like anywhere else, that move in and move out.
Hold on, right.
Yeah.
Okay. But so are you comfortable thinking that 10 to 12 will maintain our average over the next?
It's been pretty consistent. I mean, we've been as high as 14, but we've been as low as 8 or 9 at times too, but it's been pretty consistent at 10 to 12, like as a sweet spot.
So Patrick, this would be solely dedicated for students who are in the transition program.
Correct. Now, to say like.
Could it be used for,
It
that's
could.
kind of-
So I'll give you a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like, we had, every year, the middle school has a number of students, it's not a large amount, that are on student council that go to a student
Right.
leadership
Yeah.
conference at AIC. One of these vehicles could easily transport them, for them as an alternative. Now, if it's in conflict with the transition schedule.
That would be the priority.
Yeah, but like if not, or that's something that could be completely doable, or a field trip such as that.
Thanks for all the work on that. You know all things buses now, yellow and white.
Yeah.
Can I ask,
Carrie?
yeah. I don't know, would these ever be usable for like any of like the co-op sports or anything as well?
It could. I mean, there'd have to be some MOUs with contracts, but it could be something that could be explored.
Okay.
Are the kids in the transition program, are they pretty much done with the day at the dismissal time of the high school?
They're typically done by 2.
Wait till, okay. So the buses would possibly be available for after school activities or.
Correct.
So I'm going to just say thank you for, thinking ahead around this and kind of looking at it. It sounds like a win-win situation, quite honestly. We're saving money right now. Just to explore a little bit more. So for me, what would be helpful is bottom line. So this would come out of, this would come out of transportation special needs. And where would this come in the budget?
That's where it is. It's in special ed transportation.
So we could just take that. I mean, there would not, it would be.
Yeah, we basically would take that and then transfer it over to the town and sit for,
Okay.
specifically to either lease or finance. In talking with Amy, there is a process to do that.
So what would be helpful, and I know that you said, should we explore more right on here? But I think what would be helpful too is, so this is good information about, respy, but what would be helpful to me is like overall, like, I know you can't get specific, but there are other factors that go into this, right? So like you said, staffing, right? Staffing, any other factors that you think, maybe gas, mileage, if we're leasing this would be, they would be taking care of maintenance, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he said it would be included.
Yeah,
It already is included.
Okay,
It's a month
okay.
Contract, right?
Okay.
Yes, it's covered.
yeah. So just those kinds of things, so that we have a real sense of like, what would this mean?
Yeah, I mean, what we would need from the board is the blessing to go full speed ahead, just because of like that obviously trust in the decision making. Certainly we can be in contact with, Denise is chair, Noreen is finance subcommittee chair, but if we are bringing something back continuously back to the board, we won't have enough time turn around for them to produce the vehicle to start because it's about a 6 month. Is it 6 months?
It's six, yeah, possibly.
So at that point, what we're looking at is we can continue the conversations, but what we're really then looking at is FY 28. If that's the board's preference, that's fine. That's why we wanted to bring it forward. So that everyone understood the timelines that we're working with.
So are you saying that if the board is okay with it, that you would come back with a solid proposal at what, the next meeting?
Ryan, what would you say based on your conversation with the vendor as far as reasonable timeline in which it would be operational for next school year?
And in my last conversation, I basically indicated if we would have to have everything moving forward by like the end of January in order to have it ready for July. Like I said, basically my understanding is like Patrick had shared, like they literally have to like custom order it, add the wheelchair items and stuff. So it is quite a bit of a turnaround.
They're actually going to put East Windsor Public Schools on it too. That part's nice.
In yellow.
Transition program
Run through.
run through this.
It does, but we could do a contract just for the summer too.
Yeah, so you don't
right
need
now.
it for July 1st. You can. I mean.
Right, but for
it- it-
January would be for
February and
September.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were to go into February, you'd still have it by the next school year.
I mean, that was based on our conversations. I mean, I don't want to say like, yes, for sure, without confirming it. Like,
So is the consensus of the group that we want them to go further with this?
It makes sense if it's saving us money.
I think it sounds like a good idea.
It sounds like a good idea. I would just love to know kind of the other kind of, just for my own, what are the other, is it gonna be $10,000 more? Is it gonna be $20,000 more? Those other kinds of things. I know it can't be complete, but
You mean other kinds of things?
well, I'm talking about staff to drive it, insurance,
Well,
you know.
isn't the staff? The staff goes with them now.
Diane
Right.
is,
But you said you had to pay them extra. Is that incorrect?
It'd probably a small, but it'd be honestly minimal and
Okay.
we already have a draft of an updated job description. So the job description's actually already but I was going to bring it forward to the board without having this copy.
Right, okay. But it would be kind of a wash almost on that. So it wouldn't be anything that would be.
No,
Outrageous.
no,
But we wouldn't be hiring anybody new to come in. We'd be utilizing staff who's already with those.
correct,
Right?
correct,
So maybe a stipend or.
correct.
whatever.
It'd be a small, like small addition to
There's no new staffing required to.
correct.
Right.
and insurance is minimal.
Insurance is minimal. So there's nothing really else, right? That could be? I mean, gas, that's gonna be minimal.
No, we would have like POs as far as like in purchase history for Diane's vehicle as far as what we pay for like parts for, right? Wouldn't Smith be billing the parts?
yeah,
We can pull those.
history, I can get that.
We wouldn't be able to determine because it's just like essentially it's just one, the gas is all inclusive of everyone utilizing
Okay.
it. So there's no
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So the only thing I could say is we do report miles. We could figure out maybe that way. Try and like.
Is it extraordinary or is it something,
I'm not worried about the fuel cost.
Okay.
It's like,
And really there wouldn't be repairs on a new vehicle, but there
No.
probably are on a 14-year-old vehicle.
Yeah.
Sure.
so.
Um. I think we should do something. Because I mean, if we can save $50,000 a year by having our own buses. For something that we're mandated to do, then that makes sense. I personally am thinking purchase them rather than lease them. Only because I think they have a longer life than, if it was a school bus going around picking up 50 kids every day and dropping them off at home, I'd be saying, no, we don't want to own that sucker, but, and My only other thought on it from either perspective, lease or buy, is there's a way to set it up with the town so it's capital improvement. We can't have our own capital. It just doesn't work like that. So the town has to hold it in their capital. And in order to do that, even though it's our money, there are probably bid requirements that we have 3 bids for that.
Are they on the state vending? I thought they were on the state. They're on the.
Oh, they're on the
Yeah,
state, they're on
yeah.
the state list.
Cause I thought we asked them that.
We did, they're on it, and there's a number of other districts they were.
New Britain just did, and when we were there,
Well,
they
as
said,
long as they're on the state list,
Yeah,
then you can get around the bid requirements. If they weren't on the state approved, whatever the heck they call that thing. In order for the town to take it in, they would need bids, and that would just prolong.
Yeah.
But if they're on the state bid list, then it should be okay.
So consensus is to go ahead. Yes. Carrie, do you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
Do we have to vote on this? Something on these? To go ahead with that question or go ahead?
I basically was just looking for general consensus.
Yeah, and
Okay,
and
yeah.
sort of vet out any questions
Yes.
that we all had. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for all the hard work on
Yeah,
that.
no, thank you.
It's a lot. Okay, on to new business discussion. I had asked this to be put on. So, I can quickly explain. The charter revision group is looking for any recommendations from anybody on things that we could do differently. I think this election was a little eye-opening to all of us that it is very difficult to get, people to run for office for almost anything. This would not in any way impact what we have going on now. It would be something that would take effect either in 26 or 27. But what does the board think about having 7 members rather than 9? I had in the packet information and I sent an email that explained where I was coming from and has the charter reference that shows that they're the ones that set up how many the charter is where you get the number of 9. Patrick did a little bit of research, right, to see that other towns have less than 9.
Correct. So, districts are either 7 or 9. I will say, speaking with other school districts our size, it is unusual that, of a district our size to have, 9 members. That being said, we're not the only ones either.
I think, because I did a little research on it, Ellington, Summers, Windsor, Lutz, Windsor, they all have 9. Well, Ellington had 10, which I found weird. I think for me, just because this is the Board of Education and the amount of subcommittees that we have now formed, I think 9 is needed. I also believe it's been great having so much perspective, but that's just.
I agree with Courtney.
I also just thought it was weird in section 9-05 where they talked about the conditions for having a 7-member board and that it was like 3 people run on a 2-year term and then the rest of the board runs.
That's the initial term.
Our
And then-
chart kind
yeah.
of really oversees some of this.
Oh, so we don't have to follow that. It would just be, okay. I thought that was like the requirement. Okay.
My gut immediately said to me, "Oh, we can't go to 7. We have too much to do."
I agree with
We
Courtney.
have, as it is, we have a lot of subcommittees with 4 people on them. And if we eliminate us from 9 to 7 to try to keep those things, I just can't see us being as effective with 2 less bodies. But I do understand the issue of finding people to run.
And I don't have, I don't have I don't care either way. I wanted to bring it up because we've had the issue. To just let the board know that there was an alternative. I agree with what's been said so far about, the subcommittees are a lot. I mean, this board selling, everything that we do to potential candidates is very difficult. If you're going to be honest, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And split 9 ways rather than 7 is probably better, but I did want to bring it up.
So I did a little research too in terms of, sorry, Courtney, you wanted to.
Oh, no, I was just kind of, not that it might have already been discussed, but how much interest? I mean, I know that with the election, we didn't have people when we had room for people to be on the ballot, but has there been?
And 3, is it still 3, Jess?
Yes,
Okay, so we, yeah.
and tomorrow is the last day.
So I did a little research as well and, just because I was really grappling with it, because it's a good question, right? Just given what's given, that's going on. I agree that we should, it's a big undertaking, 9 people, I believe, makes sense. And, the subcommittees have been, very efficient in terms of working, as opposed to that right in the past and now we're really bringing stuff. It's an efficient way to move and to get things done. So it was kind of like, what I looked at was kind of a pro and a con, right? And 7 could be more efficient, right? And probably red tape is kind of, cut through a little bit and, but the cons are there's more opportunity for burnout because of the kind of things that we have on our plate and the things that we're going to be doing that we need, like, I think, active members on the board, overall in the future, right? And I just, honestly, I hate to reduce based on situational things right now. We don't know, right, what the climate will be,
better.
and it could be better, Brian, God bless you, you're a Republican and
And it doesn't stand on this board. It really doesn't.
no, but what I'm saying is if you had an organization that, I'm just gonna be real honest, like, putting forward, right, and helping to support other kinds of, so that was kind of a gap in terms of I think, as far as recruiting. Us too.
I don't understand what you just said.
I'm saying that we have a somewhat, I would say, functioning Democratic town committee that kind of can go out and kind of do some of the work as far as recruiting. When I think we reached out to the Republican town committee to say, could you please help send some names? We're really kind of, and we found that they weren't as responsive. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about.
No, I just know overall there was, I think there is across the board around the country,
Yes,
so few people who want to get involved and do anything, and it just gets worse and worse every year. But just because it's that bad, I think that it's better if we would have a gap with the possibility of filling it
yeah.
than to cut the board to a smaller size and not be able to do the things that we currently do.
I agree with you. I agree. And that may change, could change, it could change.
Well, and it's going just what this opportunity of 2 vacancies has done is allowed more consideration for unaffiliated.
Exactly.
And unaffiliated in this town is almost half of.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all over the country.
So for them to be not ignored, but underrepresented.
Yeah.
Across the board for our government. There's no organization for them like the town committees for the major parties.
Right.
There's no one to say that the unaffiliateds are gonna get together and they're gonna get some candidates.
I
And
find
that's a shame.
I find it with the way that the current political system is set up. We have 2 completely opposed and diametrically far apart groups
that you're supposed to be able to find representation within.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody who feels fully represented by their party. I don't.
I agree with you.
And in order for someone else to get in, I mean, you're talking about the very just ends of the bell curve. The vast majority of the population is in the middle somewhere, but we can't talk because I'm an R and you're a D, and I have very different.
Not here.
But
Yeah, I know.
not necessarily here, but it's like, it's in this town. And I've, I don't,
Every town. Yeah.
yeah, but I think that if there was a way
Yeah.
to limit it, to say the parties can put up, and then,
Unaffiliated.
and then unaffiliated from someone else, yeah. I think that would be fair, but it's very difficult
I
in
asked
the current system.
I asked unaffiliated to
I
run.
know that the Republican side did as well, and it's just, nobody wants to be, well, I won't say nobody because we're all here.
Yeah.
But, some people, don't want to be associated with a letter because there's too much of a stigma that goes with it. So I kind of liked if, the parties put up 3 apiece and then Patrick goes and gets the other 3.
I'm really pleased that we have 3 people who wanted to do it, because they have those 3 people are people who want to do it. They have an interest in doing it. They want to serve our community, so they don't want to be involved in the nonsense that they have
Yes.
to go through
Yes.
to get there. But this gave them the opportunity to, so I'm very pleased. with
Ditto.
that.
Gerald.
Let me just see how Carrie feels to weigh in. Are you comfortable with, going to, no further with this? Because that seems to be the general consensus.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine with me. I agree that it's just like there's a lot to do for 9 of us, and it can always be revisited, I'm sure, at some point too. We just can't get people in.
Yeah.
But I think even if we can't get people in, we should have the space, just in case you could.
I think we have to, after a certain time, have people on. or
Yes.
Or the town. that-
Well, we made the deadline, right?
Yeah.
Was it February 15th?
We're past the deadline, aren't we?
No.
For submissions?
No, it was tomorrow.
It was
Okay.
January 15th, and we
Because what
have it
happened?
done by
Town fixed.
the second meeting in
If we can't,
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
don't have, yes, then I think it goes to the town by charter, the town, then it wants.
I don't remember what the next step is because we won't go that far.
It's not clear. It isn't clear.
Yeah, I think it. I
As
think
to
it's
what
right, it
happens,
wasn't clear.
it's not clear.
That the Board of Selectmen don't pick it, though we go to a special election, but we won't
Right,
have to
right,
go
right.
there, so we
Yeah.
won't have to worry about it. Okay, well, thank you for at least discussing it, and I think it was an interesting discussion. Thank you all. So, the next item is the school renovation project update, and we have some information on that, right?
Yes, so, at the ad hoc, committee meeting. Was that last week? It's fun.
Last week.
Yeah, it was, January 7th. The Diamond Group, which, presented to the board, previous, since then, with your approval, we did, sign on. They have met with, the first selectman. He, was very pleased, with the presentation of their work. And we had them, present a draft, essentially a timeline. And it's in the back of your packet.
So it's this, let's say, target audience.
Yeah, it's right behind the,
Facilities referendum roadmap.
and so basically the ad hoc committee focused, the entire time in the meeting on going through the draft roadmap, really, working on the first 2 months. So not showing, if you look, in the back, it has kind of like December, January and February. And basically saying, let's, let's identify a date as far as the community forum. We identified the date of February 26th afternoons. And then what we said as far as the committee is the number of tasks listed in January would be completed. So when you look at the social media, post graphics, as far as drafts of a news release, email, fact sheet, slide deck, having all those completed for the ad hoc committee to review at the first February meeting, which is February 4th. And then we'll review, have those ready moving into the forum. So I mean, overall, it was a very positive meeting. I will say there was a number of documents and supplemental, so you have this electronically, like when you see
February 26th.
26th is the forum, and the board are next.
yeah, when you go on this document electronically, like all those things that are listed in blue are other documents. So if you see enrollment projections, that was
They're all actively.
yeah, it opens up, it'll open, there's some resources they provided, kind of like the do's and don'ts as far as what you can do, as far as best practices with a referendum recommendations, reminders, there's a staff flyer. So there, some of it is just templates, like the social media was a template.
People that were at the ad hoc meeting were pretty impressed with the group. They're really, they're taking the ball and running with it
Yeah, absolutely.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know Betsy was in the audience. You spoke during public participation.
I was very impressed with him. I really was. You know, his expertise, I think his openness to look, you know what I like about him, Patrick? He really listens. So he's listening a lot. And you know, he's listening to what we're
And
talking about.
incorporating.
And he's thinking about all the stuff. I really like that. And I love the fact that they focus on educational programming. So what I have come to learn, it's taken me a while, is that marketing has all different kinds of colors to it. But getting something marketing, it's not just about a message. That's one piece. But all the other pieces that have to go in to what you have to do to get to a referendum is something that I think he has very firm knowledge of. And I feel confident, you know, that he can help us get to those steps when we do it.
Well,
He's talking about a video. You know what I would love? I would love a video of our kids. And for the next, if you can do it, that would make us cry. That's what I keep saying. If you look at a video that just, you know, gets to your heart, you're kind of like, you know, you're interested in something.
So we,
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will say, so we did talk about the kids, they talked about putting together videos, they
Yep.
are looking to have a video, but the first one more on the physical like infrastructures, and the second one incorporating kids and staff. So I can tell you, Kyle already got video and pictures
Yeah.
with the drone flying over both the high school and Broadbrook roofs with the number of blister repairs. We have the district, we have our typical like photographer and videographer that is coming will take pictures of problematic areas tomorrow with Kyle. So they're accumulating, and then the Diamond Group will take it and produce it and do a storyboard around those. I know Betsy, you said some things as far as like the Q&A. Yep, so we've already started to put, so we have a draft of that already doing, they're working on the slide deck. So I'm confident that we're going to have all these things in place in the next few weeks.
I think having confidence in the group that is going to put our communications together is very helpful to all of us. And I think it's also helpful to keep the Board of Selectmen as confident about our communications as we are, because I've said it before, we're all in this together, and if we aren't all in it together, it's gonna fail. So we have to have confidence in the message going out, and everybody has to. So I think we're headed down a good path.
I have a question.
Mhm.
As far as the community forum goes, whose is it? Is it the Board of Education forum? Is it the Board of Selectmen, Board of Education forum? Is it an ad hoc forum?
I thought it was joint between BOS and BOE, but I'm not.
I thought it was two. It's not ad hoc, because that's really not their thing. Getting it going is their thing, but not, we shouldn't, ad hoc should not be the host of it. But I thought it was both Board of Ed and Board of Selectmen, sort of like that initial meeting that we had. Remember the one where they sort of brought the concept together? That was both, if I remember correctly.
Well, my thought is that if it's going to be one or the other, we have to be cognizant of if we're all in the room together, but we're not participating in it, it's not really a meeting. But if we're all sitting there, it's a meeting and it needs to be posted as such.
Yeah.
And if it's the Board of Selectmen, if it's a joint meeting, it needs to be posted as, I'm not sure how it's gonna be.
Why would we have to do that if it's a forum? It wouldn't be considered a meeting. We're participants in it. So with somebody else, why would we have to post? I mean, we have to advertise it as a forum.
Because if we're together sitting at a board
And
together talking
about
board
a
and
specific,
business, we're in a meeting.
yeah,
It's a public. meeting.
FOI.
It's like we are.
It's just
here.
considered a meeting.
Um,
I didn't know.
I'm just
I didn't know
curious,
that. I
that's
thought
the-
if you're in a forum, that it doesn't constitute, but
No, it
okay.
does.
Or is it more of a Board of Education meeting or the two that like Jason's gonna be up there answering some things, Patrick's gonna be up there answering some things. I wasn't at the meeting, so I'm not sure. I just.
Yeah, I think we're going to clean all that up. But my understanding is at the February 4th meeting by completing them, because again, we said we were going to talk about that more in depth now that we've identified, and we would have these tasks done for review at that meeting. So that was kind of like the next steps, understanding that we had the February 4th meeting prior to the February 26th.
Yeah, that was all. It's nice to see that there's a path.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments?
There's a road.
Felt good when you guys, when ad hoc decided this is the day that we will do this. That felt really good.
Yeah, it was.
A year after we're supposed to.
Yeah, whatever. Yep.
Okay, and the rep for the Board of Ed, we had agreed at our last meeting, we were gonna wait for the two new people to come on board. That's one more ad hoc meeting without a fourth BOE person. Right? Okay. So new business. Do you want to talk about the strategic plan and
Yes, so, in conversations, with the board, we talked about our strategic plan coming, to an end. It was voted, and approved by the board in, 2021. It was November 2021. And certainly we've accomplished quite a bit under the strategic plan. Certainly it drives, work that we do, both instructional, along with operations, how we operate our business, regarding allocating, resources. And, certainly, again, when we look at our successes, it's a lot is aligned with our plan. To start the school year, as you may recall, I did explore, three different options as far as engaging the public in adopting and developing a new strategic plan to piggyback off the work we've already completed. But when you look at our needs and you look at the work on the ad hoc, I mean, we were just talking about, so it is timely. really the focus, and this board, was in agreement, last time, we discussed. When it comes to community engagement, really needs to be focused on, the work around, new school construction and to try to engage the community both in that work along with developing a new strategic plan. Really seems to, be in contrast of each other as far as like, keeping the focus, singular. So with that, we focus our community engagement on new school construction. What I proposed, and it was, thought favorably by the board, was be to vote to, extend our strategic plan one more year, so we can continue to focus our community engagements on, the new school construction, with hopes of a referendum this fall, and then look for next spring to then engage, the public, on the next steps as far as, building a new strategic plan. And the results of the referendum would be telling either way and would, I think, be necessary as far as building upon. Should it pass, that will take the strategic plan in one direction, and should it not, that would be information to, for the next. So, it's been a while. I think we discussed that around October, so it's been a couple months, since we last revisited, but at this time, it seems appropriate to, vote and extend it.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Frank.
I'll make a motion to extend the strategic plan through 2027.
Okay, I just have was made by Brian and seconded by Noreen. Any discussion? And I just have a question. So in our, in any of our, is any place, do we have it written that that we have to do this during, within a certain time frame?
No,
No, so we're good.
Correct.
We can make that.
Correct. And I mean, there's nothing that says in your bylaws, that you need to vote on a strategic plan, but it is best practice. And the
Yeah.
fact that we voted on to approve it, and when we voted to approve it, the plan was voted from 2021 to 2026. So it feels like a necessary step to then
Yeah.
extend it as well.
Okay. That answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, all those in favor? Gary?
Aye.
Ready. That's unanimous. Opposed? Great. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, next is the job description.
Okay, so this, so this, program, as far as, sorry, I'm just getting my path.
Double sided.
Perfect. So the Ed Rising Future Educator, Group Advisor, this was a state initiated, program. It's to promote, kids that are in high school. And I can tell you it's now expanded into, middle school, with hands-on, teaching experience to build interest in the program. So you may recall, we had a group of students come, with Cheryl that presented that were in the program. They spoke to you about the activities. Because sometimes when things become grant funded, I mean, you're rushing to implement it. So we implemented essentially the program because it was grant funded at the time, before really even having job descriptions on it. So we're playing a little bit of a catch up. The program is overseen, as it says, building administrator, along with the Safe School Climate and Equity Director, which is Cheryl. And the program is in place, and this really just outlines exactly what, these supporting advisors do to, support that program. That was presented to you, last spring. So certainly if there's any questions, we are in the second year of the program, I believe. And again, it's, actually third year at the high school, second year at the middle school.
And make a motion to approve the job description of the Ed Rising Future Education Group Advisor.
Motion made by Courtney, seconded by Noreen. Any further discussion?
This is a great program.
Thank you. Yeah, no, It's been well received by students and staff and
Yep.
families alike.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Carrie. Carrie. Okay, the next item, I would think that, are you gonna be handling that or?
Sure. Yeah, the transfers.
Yes,
Um,
please.
Yep, so we actually just went over these at the finance subcommittee. I think we've agreed in meetings in the past. Basically, the finance subcommittee goes over it, discusses it. Once they approve the transfers, then we bring it to the board. Once that goes through, then I'll make them in munis. Just as a reminder to those who weren't at the finance subcommittee, we do transfers inside of cost centers like throughout the year. So like, to be clear, there's been more than like 3 transfers, if you will. It's just like salary to salary, purchase service to purchase service, supply to supply, like the internal transfers, because it was in the approved budget. I'll make those throughout the year. These are going across cost center, so it could be like in this case, it's mostly from like salaries to purchase services. As I kind of mentioned to the finance subcommittee, these were brought forth for the sped department. Basically, they had a little bit of excess funds from the summer program. So they're using those to kind of offset. There's a new needed instructional equipment for I believe they're called standards. And then contracted services and diagnostic services that were unanticipated.
Any questions? Finance subcommittee, met on them.
Yeah, we talked about them earlier.
Does this have to be 3 separate motions or can it be bundled?
Do you need them to be separate?
No,
Just-
I in the sheet, I label them 1, 2, 3. When I put them in the system, it doesn't matter. Obviously, it's easier to do as one, but
So there we go.
Okay, so I will make a motion to accept the transfers of $4,500 from special ed summer school to the special ed contracted services. We approve the 5,935 from special ed summer school to special ed replace instructional equipment and $8,350 from special ed summer school to special ed diagnostic services.
A second. Motion was made by Courtney, seconded by Fran. That was beautiful motion. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody, motion carried. And we're on to liaison and subcommittee reports. I'm on a roll.
We had a curriculum council subcommittee meeting. No, I think it was probably 2 weeks ago. We talked about how we're gonna be transitioning from a 7 to an 8 period day in response to Connecticut high school graduation requirements. Which right now are set at a minimum of 25. So by going to an 8-day period, it gives 32 opportunities over the 4 years instead of the current 28. Other benefits would include having more designated intervention periods, more support skills, more room in the schedule to take electives, but also just offers flexibility. There was a teacher committee set up to look at this and lead in 23-24 school year, I think it was. Which really just looked to see what other surrounding towns were doing, getting feedback from all of that, so they took a lot of time. There were 4 things that they were looking at. There was a 6 period day, an 8 period day, a 4-day block schedule, and then ultimately they went with an 8 period day, combining it with 2 block periods, which basically allows for consistency in the teaching of the curriculum, but also offers those courses that might need more time, the ability to have more time through the week. So that'll be a change for next year. And
So Courtney, is that like Does that extend the day? Is the day?
The day
School
is,
day is not longer?
the day is not longer, usually, actually, I wrote that down.
That's
With the 8 period day. Um, it's a 43-minute class.
And what are they now?
We're 50 now.
52.
I don't think it's that long. It's
45? It was
yeah.
just a few minutes, right?
yeah, it's just,
Yes.
Really?
yeah, I think Courtney, explained it. One of the difficulties Allison has had when the state of Connecticut increased the credit amounts that students had to earn, it left schools scrambling because they only had a certain number of opportunities for students to earn those credits. So this is something, and Courtney referenced it, Allison really did a lot of work with her committee, reaching out to other districts. I think it was Summers who maybe went to a 6-period day.
It was, in my
And-
conversations with her, she shared they modeled it after something.
Yeah, and then immediately they're already trying to change it to go back to something similar to what we're looking at because that's not exactly working out. She deserves a lot of the credit in the background for the planning that went into this.
Sounds pretty complicated.
Yeah, I mean, Allison's quite good at the scheduling aspect and creating the opportunities for the students. The other big piece that we had to consider when we had a schedule years ago and it was a rotating schedule and there was an inconsistency with what students had at the end of their days or the start of their days, it created difficulties. We've talked about the pathways a number of times. It created real difficulties for those students who wanted to get out into the community to either go to his Nantucket and take a course or go to a local business and to, do any sort of internship because our schedule was always moving. Which then makes it difficult to form any sort of consistent relationship with community members. So
Even like labs and science, or just different courses that I think it provides opportunity to, or even just adding that extra time of intervention when you have that extra period. We can see a lot of benefits for our students.
Yeah, for further clarification, I mean, some of the challenges and difficulties, Daryl's explaining is not unique to, East Windsor either. That's across the board. Everyone's in the same boat, facing the same challenges.
And it changing. And overall, I know, I looked a little bit too, and Enfield has that 8 period. So big, just that whole piece. I was
I had
particularly-
concerns
Yeah,
too about
yeah,
how short,
yeah.
short periods would be, but after talking with Allison and just knowing, I think it's gonna provide a lot more opportunity.
I just like that. I like the fact that, as Daryl talked about, we talked about those pathways and kids having an opportunity to go out and really experience, what's happening in terms of internships. That is an opportunity for them to do that. So I think that's been kind of a missing piece as far as like kids and really, it can be exciting for kids to do this too, for high school kids. So I thought that was.
Any other liaison or subcommittees? Yes.
Finance met tonight. And we have 2 weeks to present the actual budget and whatnot. And he's going to have projections he's got some projections to the end of the year. Athletic subcommittee met a few weeks ago. We reviewed the fall sports and started talking about what's going on now. And to tell you the truth, I'm having a hard time remembering. And anything that was like abnormal that we talked about, it was
No, we had brought up like the leagues and possibly looking into
Right.
alternatives to making, it be an even playing ground and but there's a lot of difficulties and once you leave a conference, getting back into it. And, so I think, Dean will dive in a little bit more with that when he's there.
Is that in reference to our like baseball and boys soccer? I know
Yes.
that one getting hammered
Yeah.
every time we walk on the pitch, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And PTO had a meeting last week. I didn't get there because I think we all had something else, but They have a glow dance coming up in 2 Fridays. If you want to come to Broadway School and get yourself,
Load up.
don't get yourself like seizure.
Yes.
It's the place to come.
You totally,
It's like,
described it.
and fortunately, everyone is old enough now that I can stand outside of the gymnasium and not be. It's like literally seizure type. Yeah. So, not for kids, for old people. Um, that's all I've got.
Gee, sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Sign up fast. Any other subcommittees, liaisons?
I have nothing to share about the Board of Selectmen meeting. That was pretty eventful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I have one thing.
Uh-huh.
No, no, I don't. I take it back.
False alarms.
Yeah, Tim covered it. Sorry.
Okay, our second public participation. No public left. They all ran out of here. As soon as they could. That was a great presentation. Thank you so much again. Miscellaneous, I just wanted to go over the thing for the search for people that we have 3. The applications close tomorrow. Patrick has done a great job with, getting questions from Kate. It was like, how many, like 45 or something? There's pages of questions.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, I mean, what they did was they just asked other districts and they just did everything, all encompass. And Jessica was the one who really did the nice job of getting them. What I did was essentially I reduced them for redundancy and then categorized them based on themes.
So we're going to, Noreen and I and Patrick are gonna look at reducing that number to bring something manageable to you all. At the next meeting, we will talk about that in executive session. We can do that. I asked at the FOI training I had gone. I don't know, Jessica, you're gonna have to try to figure out how that gets covered under freedom of information. It's not personnel. I don't remember what he said, but it's not personnel because I asked specifically if it was that.
As far as interviewing in executive session,
We will be interviewing in executive session, but we can also talk about the process in executive session. So we'll be going over the questions.
The evaluation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's evaluate, something with evaluation.
I can look into it.
We'll go over the questions because that should be done discreetly. And the process, we'll have something concrete to bring to you all as far as, how we should do the process. So put your thinking caps on and we'll get that. That'll be the next meeting.
So my question is, after the 15th, which is after tomorrow, will we be able to, will you send us the resumes of the people who have this letter of intent?
Probably in the executive session, we haven't talked about it, but I would think in the executive session, everybody can get copies of that, right?
Well,
Um,
yeah, when we're discussing it, yeah, well,
right,
well, just that we have it prior to the interviewing.
Oh,
Process.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So I think we'll discuss the process. We'll get you a narrowed list of, and the applications.
Okay.
Okay?
And set a date,
Yes,
set dates for interviews.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the whole process, how we're gonna.
Oh, right, that's part of.
Yeah. And I'm thinking maybe we should do a special meeting just for that, and it would be fairly, if we set aside it as part of the discussion next time, how long do we think we're gonna take? 15 minutes per person? So that would be 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then have a discussion internally about what we do.
Denise, I know you and I, and the thought just came to me, so I apologize for not asking it now, but as far as those interviews, do you want me present? Because I could see pros and cons for me being present.
Gee, I don't know. what do you see as pros and cons? I mean, you would have insight into numbers. I would think, I don't know. What do y'all think?
I remember the last time we had a vacancy, was it you?
No, it's Betsy.
No, Patrick, was it you when we had the vacancies that we were trying to fill?
I mean, I sat, so, the process was a little different that I mean, it was essentially past practice. I think like only one or two questions were really asked.
Yeah.
And the person was really disappointed the few times that I've been present.
And it was done in a public,
Correct,
at a regular BOE meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
This is two that we're gonna be doing and we have.
I will say in the past too, though, there hasn't been multiple like candidates that
Yeah.
were brought forward, so I can't ever recall when there was. It was essentially one with the recommendation of that party that this was, who was taking the seat, so,
This is a little
I
different.
remember when Heather Spencer got, because we voted, she was just nominated, it was just approved.
well, that was because that was, the party put her forward.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't have anybody from the party,
That's why.
so this is why we're doing what we're doing
Yeah.
now. So, but I can't see any reason why you wouldn't be. I think that you would be very valuable to be here.
yeah, no,
You have insight, you have a bigger picture of this whole room. We,
I'd be happy to attend. I just, at the end of the day, like, it's not lost on me too, that, I'm evaluated by the board or report to the board, so if there's private conversations, so
Yeah.
related to those topics, I want to be respectful of that as well too.
Right. So that would be my only thing. Your insight is absolutely valuable, but I think it's the position, I mean, we're the one on the board who are kind of looking at the nominations. So I think board members should be the ones who are asking the questions, right?
oh, yeah,
And Patrick, you of course would be there to kind of, hear what's going
an
on.
observer and
An
an after
observer.
the fact, part of
Absolutely.
the discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the board has to be the ones asking questions.
Do we have to extend?
It's 9:30, so.
Oh, 9:30.
Well, we won't be extending.
okay.
So, that was under miscellaneous. Anybody else have miscellaneous?
So going back to
Hey, hey.
the thing on like just students things and like some things they complaints. One thing I've heard is more specifically in upperclassmen or those in taking the AP classes is the ability to use like a personal laptop or an iPad, because it's been very hammered down this year that that's not allowed. And in previous years, it's kind of gotten some leeway. But not only for taking AP courses, because if it's a college level course, that you can earn college credit. I mean, at the college level, they're allowed to use laptops and iPads. Not that, and Chromebooks aren't necessarily the top of the line, so they have to come with their flaws and issues. And I understand the issues with this because like students can misuse it, and I don't know if there's as much control. I know that you can still get Go Guardian on them through managing the Google account, and the Google account is still managed through the school. But that's what I was thinking. It could be something as a privilege to students that can be taken away for students that misuse, kind of like how senior privileges, how seniors can like have the ability to drive to school, but it can be something like be taken away. So I'm not sure if that's something, like I'm not really sure all the state policies, if that's something that's even possible.
So I would say it's not related to policy, but I mean, it seems something very valuable that like student input could bring to building administration and have a conversation there.
Like student counselors.
Yeah, or if you have a student leadership group that's comfortable, has a topic, bring that forward.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Ms. Anderson briefly about it and didn't really go anywhere. I can bring it up again, but I just thought it was a really good idea. I know a lot of students would like, especially for seniors, the college application process, like using my personal laptop. Like it was much easier for me to organize my college stuff and all my Common App stuff and utilizing the AP classroom. And obviously, I mean, it's not a necessity. Chromebooks can do the job. It's more just a privilege and not just a preference now.
So with my understanding is you guys aren't allowed to use laptops at all?
No, they have to be Chromebooks.
They have to be.
Oh, so you can use laptops, just certain ones?
Basically, the school.
School.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about, just like.
Interpreted it as no laptops at all. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was more talking about personal devices,
Got it.
like they don't let me supply by school, but like I know me after my sophomore year, I went out and I bought the laptop because I was enrolling these AP college courses and then unfortunately I wasn't allowed to use it, but I still use it at home and stuff and it is very useful. I know a lot of students who use that same stuff at home. It is a great benefit. So
I maybe shouldn't say this, but maybe if you go have the conversation again and say I talked to the board about it last night and they thought it was good for me to come have the conversation,
Maybe that's
that
why,
might help.
maybe that's why I did that.
That might help the tinge. That, oh, I discussed it with the board and they said, come on back.
Have there been issues in the past, Tim, with people, well, there's never been an opportunity for people to use, what are the issues that you think might come up with people using their own computers in class? And how would that be monitored? So that's my question.
yeah, so I mean, I'm sure there's students who probably, I mean, I don't do it, but there's probably students who play games or do other stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, there is GoGuardian for the Google account that you have. I'm not sure if it can view everything else.
Yeah, I don't know if the board knows what GoGuardian is. So
Yeah,
so essentially, so GoGuardian is essentially district software. Well, it's software that we've purchased for district devices.
To be used with the.
Essentially safeguards to make sure that
Right.
essentially you're on appropriate sites or monitoring systems to ensure there's not the inappropriate use of technology.
Yeah, and like when you sign, like on my personal laptop, when I sign into my Google, my school email and account, I mean, my GoGuardian extension is still there, even on a different device. So, I mean, there could still be that monitoring, I guess. It'd just be mainly other apps outside of that Google account, maybe be the issue, but again, it's a privilege, so you can get, that's kind of my idea behind it, that it can't be taken away, it's not a given. And if you're caught misusing, then
You anticipate,
Conversation.
Patrick, do you anticipate that there would be any like liability for the school if students were using their personal laptops? Like, God forbid, I'm thinking of Lorenzo who's broken like 3 laptops in college. But like, God forbid a student like brought in their personal laptop and like, it got damaged during class or something like that, like would that. Yeah, I don't know if it's any different than phones, but like, I'm just trying to think of like, aside from distractions during class, like what other.
Yeah, I don't think that's a
That would be
primary
the
concern.
Okay.
It's more the access and the kind of the accountability right to what I think that's in my, what I'm thinking is that you're most people are responsible. Most students are responsible. And I guess it would be that, well, if there's someone who is not, how would that be monitored? What does that take as far as
Is it? This is a high school policy, right? This is something the high school had determined that.
And no other school are you allowed to use personal devices. I think at one point there was some greater flexibility at the high school than other schools. So
that's
I think so. I think it was more like a recent change in which
We're back to following policy rather than.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
all
would say
right.
procedure because I don't think it's written.
It's
It's a procedure rather than a policy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
Maybe you got a little bit of guidance.
I can try bringing it up again, but I'm not sure.
Okay, no other miscellaneous? Then we'll
I
move on.
just have one, very quick. I went to the block party last week
Oh, that's right.
at the high school. It was really very good. It was well attended. Game was great. And I wanted to say, I as an elementary school person, we had gotten stuff from Mount Laurel saying the block party is going on. There were a lot of people from Broadbrook School. Good. There were a lot of little people there. Yes, like a lot of them. I would say there were probably 10 to 12 families of little people who didn't have big people with them. They just came as little people. So it helped to send out that message because it got people on board. I brought these back.
Oh, you brought them back.
Yeah, because
I
I
don't think any board members actually
Oh.
got them, so I
I
was
will
just
look at
gonna.
that, but yeah, it was very good, and thank you for sending that out, to all of the parents.
And she also, did
Oh, yeah, and I walked around handing out pamphlets, the, I talked to a lot of high school kids because there were quite a lot of high school children there, not children, students, and, they were all like, you mean it won't be ready for me? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe if you're a freshman, maybe we might get some. So they were like, oh, no. But it was a very good night. That's it.
okay. And we have correspondence. The town budget calendar that you can see when the public hearings are. We should attend the public hearings because that's where you hear what the public has to say about our budget or not. The referendum dates. Updated subcommittee calendar. You can see it.
I have a question on that one.
Oh, that's right. I did see that. Yes.
It's just, BPR. Do you have a need for all three of those? I thought we were trying to.
I definitely need I definitely have a need for the next one. I will tell you, Shipman and Goodwin, updated quite a few policies. I spent quite a bit of time on break going through them. And so I'll probably send them electronically ahead of time. I mean, most of the, all the updates are essentially legal. I mean, so like they have to be updated. Most of them are pretty straightforward. I do need to connect with our attorney on a couple. And then I think the majority of the time will be like more like a Q&A. I definitely need the next one.
Okay. No, it's just because I know we had spent all that time and we were talking about going quarterly with BPR and.
I think we have, but we've only had one BPR, I think.
We haven't had one in a long time.
Yeah.
No, but I'm looking here and, in the next few months, we've got three, so.
Yeah, there's probably a good chance we can take one off.
Okay.
But just based on the number of updates.
I'm not, again, obviously, I mean, if the work needs to get done, the work needs to get done. I just didn't know if that was on there like habitually or because there was a known need.
No, unfortunately not. There's a need for.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that we can take one off, but
So we have to do an AI policy.
yeah, we need AA, and we're still looking at cell phones too.
Yeah.
So along with a number of legal.
Be prepared.
I had asked that it be updated to include the ad hoc committee, because even though it's not really a subcommittee of ours.
Yeah.
It could easily get lost in the shuffle if we
Yeah.
don't have it someplace that everybody's aware when those meetings are. So,
No, it's good to have this like this in this way.
the next thing is this letter, that is, approving the Pathways Program course.
So that is at East Windsor High School or is that the kid goes to as Nantucket?
It's at East Windsor.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
And the final thing is, a note from Melissa LaBelle saying that, Bob Leach has been assigned as the Board of Ed, liaison. Yeah. He's here in spirit today, I'm feeling. And we do need a quick executive session, right? Oh, we have one other, oh, yes, thank you. From social services about the Christmas donations. So a motion would be in order to go into executive session. So when we go into executive session, we should be stating the time, the purpose, who's included.
You're right. I'm the one who's touched this that way. I make a motion, we go into executive session. To discuss pending litigation regarding our former contract with prison provider
And you should.
I would second that.
I will.
To include Patrick.
Oh, and to include Patrick.
The motion's made, so I can see. Push it out.
I think it's gonna be less than 15 minutes.
Okay.